I strive every single day when I get.
Hi everyone and welcome back to Ireland's Got Curves on the plus side. And today, the plus side of life, I'm here with Kerry, who is a blogger and has a wonderful blog and everything else. Kerry, I'm actually going to let you introduce yourself and what you do because it's amazing.
Not at all. I started a blog just after turning 50, and it's called Fabuliciousfifty, which I'm sure you'll put the links on later.
Absolutely.
But the whole premise of my blog, and really the premise of my life as well, is that I believe that everyone deserves to be fabulous despite the curveballs that life throws at us. And life throws curveballs when you're least expecting it and when you are expecting it, and some of them stay a long time more than others. But I think that somehow if we can tap into our fabulous, and I have all sorts of thoughts as to what defines fabulous, but if you can tap into your fabulous, it just makes life so much easier.
Right.
You know?
And 50 is a big one. 50 is the, new 40. No. 50 is the milestone. You're half a century.
It is something like that. I know when I was turning 50, I wasn't even going to celebrate it. I was working in the corporate world at the time, and unfortunately, it is a fact that corporations are not very positive towards people over 50. Getting a job when you're over 50 is not easy, and working in a job, the day I realized that in the entire company I was the oldest in the company, including the managing director, I was like, the chairman was older, and that was fine. And so I thought I wouldn't celebrate it. And then I bumped into a woman and she invited me to a party at her house. And I said, what is the occasion for the party? And she said, I'm turning 51. And I said, oh, okay. Well, why are you celebrating 51? And she said, because I made the mistake of not celebrating 50.
Okay.
And do you know, I then got myself into gear and I did do a little bit of a celebration for turning 50. But I think the whole thing is that, and I mean, I'm 55 now. And I think when you look at yourself, I look at myself in front of the mirror. At the moment, I'm obsessed with my wrinkles. I'm just obsessed with them, not in a good way. But I'll find the fabulous in them eventually as well.
That is, I have to interrupt you there. That is because you've just had quite a dramatic weight loss, and you're seeing yourself through a different face.
Perhaps that.
Yeah.
In
It's
fact,
happened quick.
It was said to me, you can choose. You can either have the wrinkles or go back to your fat face. Which is
nice.
Full of, it was said in a very positive way, but that's what it is. But I think the whole thing is that if I look at my face now, every wrinkle that I have tells a story, and every grey hair that I have tells a story. And by celebrating milestones, we're actually just stopping and saying, you know what, I got to 50. I've got through a lot of stuff which I don't necessarily want to talk about, but I deserve to celebrate that. And that's what birthdays are about. It's not about getting gifts or anything else like that, but it's stopping and noticing and saying, you know what have I done in the last year? What have I achieved? And where am I at right now?
So it's a way of taking stock.
Exactly, I think so.
Yeah, because I know when I turned 40, it was like, I didn't celebrate my 30. And like that, I should have took the tip of doing the 31, but I didn't. I waited a whole decade till I was 40. And I did, I did a lot. I was working in London Fashion Week at the time, so I was over in London, we had a party. I went to Chinatown for the New Year, had a party there, went to see a show, came back to Ireland, I think I had about 7 or 8 different parties. It was amazing. But for me, turning 40 opened a door, but for you, turning 50's opened that door.
Definitely.
So you started a blog.
Yeah, so I started a blog, and I was a journalist when I was younger, and so I've always written, and I wanted to get back into writing. I don't want to bring in I'd rather come back and talk to you again, because if I bring in too many subjects here, we're going to get confused. But I wanted to get back into writing, and I just felt that if I could be inspired by other people and what they were doing with their life, I wanted to do the same. So I've had a lot of experience. I've had experience with illness, I've had experience with bad marriages, I've had experience with all sorts of things. And I strive every single day when I get up in the morning to be fabulous. And I feel like if I can inspire other people that you can be older, you can be overweight, you can be sick, you can have struggles, you can have mental health difficulties, but you can still find that glimmer of fabulousness. And the way the world works is if we focus on the positive grows. And that's kind of really what I do. I focus on the positives in my life. So every day there's positives and negatives. I'm a great one for journaling. I journal all the time. And I always start my journal every day with what am I grateful for. And it kind of changes your mindset and puts you into this place where even if you're having a bad day, what am I grateful for? I'm grateful for a partner that's really, really there for me at all times. I'm grateful for good friends. I'm grateful that I have a new dress. Whatever it is, and it puts you into a different mindset. And it where your focus goes, your energy flows. I think that's one of the sayings that comes out. And if you focus on the positive, I like to call it the fabulous, that's where the growth comes.
Very good. And who would be your main readers of your blog? Is there a way of you gauging that? I'm not sure.
There is. You can go into your analytics. I don't spend a lot of time in my analytics anymore. I used to when I first started my blog. I was obsessed with it. I was going in and checking all the time. But in the world that we live in now of influencers and social media and everything else like that, I saw on the news today that Instagram are actually removing the likes in test areas all over the country, or all over the world, not the country. And it's a difficult thing. So I kind of tend to go in with engagement. So who's talking to me, who's feeding back to me, who's saying things. I do have main readers. I didn't realize that, but I suppose because I talk about positivity and I talk about mindset and stuff like that, and men are as much victim to that kind of problems as we are. But I also talk about fashion and stuff like that. And on my analytics, my readers would range from anybody from kind of 20 to 70. But I focus what I write, I'd say between 40 and 65. That's where I kind of focus what I'm writing for when I'm working with brands. I focus on things like that. So I work with Hotter Shoes. I hope it's okay to say that. I've worked with Hotter Shoes for a couple of years now. And what I love about their shoes is that they're fabulous, but they're great for feet that maybe are a little bit wide, feet that maybe have a bit of arthritis like mine. They're comfortable shoes. So they're stylish and comfortable. And I think that's why I've enjoyed working with them, because it kind of epitomizes what I believe, that it doesn't matter if your feet are problematic, you can still be fabulous. And this is everything. So that's just like one example of shoes. But through everything that you do, whether it's hair or makeup or anything else like that, you can click into that and be fabulous with it.
So it's not just an element of fake it until you make it. It's actually a element of let's find the true core of what is good today and let's go with it.
I think so. I think there's always an element of fake it until you make it. And I love makeup and I love clothes and I love that whole glamorous side of life. And I think sometimes, like if you wake up, and you and I have talked about it before, I have a number of autoimmune conditions and diseases that I deal with on a daily basis. And there are days when I get up and it is absolutely, it's fake until you make it. And that's when I go for like kind of my favorite dress or my favorite top, curl my hair, put the makeup on, put the lipstick on. Because that is one of my, I wish I'd been warned and I would have had the list of all my 7 points of how to be fabulous. But that's one of my points, is your appearance does make a difference. And you can get up and you can fake it. But something like that, that's not sustainable. You actually have to start to feel it.
Okay.
So you can fake it for a bit, but you have to feel it as well. And sometimes having a nice dress on or having your makeup on is what makes you feel it.
Yeah. So it turns it on, the switch on for you. That actually, because I did find as well, and I'm sure a lot of people listening find, there's an element, talking about age and different limits. Like, I remember feeling old when I was 25. I remember thinking, 25, quarter of a century, life's over, might as well end it, it's finished, right? Then I moved on to 30, and that wasn't too bad. 40 actually for me was amazing. So, but the other thing was, I spent a lot of time in my 30s looking back at how I looked in my 20s and feeling that I didn't look as good. And now, looking back in my 40s, I'd love to look how I looked in my 30s, where I wasted years thinking I wasn't good enough to how I looked in my 20s. So it is about enjoying every day. Your day that you're having today is the best. It could be the best you look again, or it could be the worst you look again. It's today, so don't waste it.
I'm constantly reminded that, you know, today is a gift. Tomorrow is not promised. It's not promised for any of us. So it's not about, you, as you say, you can look back and stuff like that, but you can't change the past, and you have no control over the future. Unfortunately, yes, I'm really kind of good with money, and I try to save, and I plan holidays and I plan a future life, but it's not promised. So it's actually about how you are today and how you can make the best of today rather than the best of tomorrow or the future. You know, I'm going to be miserable today because I know that I'm going to have a holiday in 6 months' time, which is great, and look forward to that. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you don't take the joy out of today, you can't get it back.
Yeah. It's so true, and I do find that with Island Sculpt Curves, anyone that's been to the event, they will know that our models are from ages 18 up to, we've had someone nearly 60. They're all different sizes, all different, and it's all about how great you look today, how great you feel today, and you might want to change that in the future. You might be happy, you might not want to change that, but today is today, so shine.
No, I mean, I love your events and I always feel so inspired by them, because when you see people walking down a catwalk, and in their head, they feel fabulous. So they might be tall, short, thin, fat, whatever they are, old, young, it doesn't matter. But they've had the experience of going through the hair and the makeup and the dress. And when they step out, they feel fabulous. And because of that, they shine. And people are not necessarily at that point in time looking to unpick the dress. They're not looking to say, oh, what exact shade of hair color has she got, or whatever. They're saying, she looks beautiful. And I think this is the thing. Years and years ago, I went to one of these people who, it wasn't done specifically for me, but it was an event where they looked at your colors. It was a big fashion at a point in time, you know. And the thing that remained with me from that event was, they said that if you're wearing the right thing, somebody will say to you, you look beautiful. And if you're wearing the wrong thing, somebody will say, that's a beautiful dress.
Okay.
And I think this is the whole thing, that if we feel beautiful in ourselves, and it doesn't matter what color it is, it doesn't matter what it is that gets you to the point where you feel beautiful. If you feel beautiful, it'll shine out. So for somebody, for a lot of people, it's heels. If they've got a heel on, they feel just something special, you know. And for somebody else, it's lipstick or mascara or whatever it is. But when you feel special, the beauty shines through. And that's what happens at your events, is that the beauty shines through because people feel special.
It definitely does. And I think as well as that, when you're seeing the clothes on a size, if you're a size 24, you're seeing clothes on a size 24, and you're seeing how somebody in a size 24 can, or any size, can work that, but you can relate to them. Whereas online, sometimes I do find you could order a plus size 14 model, maybe wearing it. You get it home and you're like, gosh, that's, you know, doesn't look the same on me, ends up in the cupboard. This, what I'm wearing here now, I actually saw on another plus size model the same size as me. And that's why I got it, because I saw how it fit her. So I think, like, seeing how people are happy in their own size, but also knowing you can be that way.
Absolutely.
too.
I think it empowering you to believe that you can. That you can actually wear something and you can feel good in something. And I'm delighted to see that in the media and stuff, there is more representation across the board of, in fact, whatever people, because it does empower you. I bought a dress at one of your first events and I wouldn't have had the guts to buy it. Never mind try it on, if I had not been in an environment where everyone was there. And it's a 50s dress, and I have now a wardrobe full of 50s dresses, because it kind of set me in a chain of wearing something that showed off my best parts and stuff like that, you know. So I think it's wonderful to see people wearing things. And the other thing is that I think we all suffer from a sense of body dysmorphia. The dress I'm wearing today took me 5 attempts to buy.
Oh, but it's beautiful.
Thank you. I went to the shop, I tried it on, I wasn't sure if it looked right or not. Went back the next day, ummed and ahed, went to buy it and it was damaged. Came home, tried to buy it online, but then wasn't sure because there was another size available online. Went to visit my son in Manchester, made him walk across the city of Manchester to get the dress. Bought the size bigger because we all suffer from the sense of body dysmorphia, especially when you're losing or picking up weight or anything. Came home and the dress was too big.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you're, that's interesting, the weight loss journey. our body loses weight, but our mind doesn't. I remember
Absolutely.
losing 4 stone in 1 year and going on a flight thinking, oh, getting that panic of, will the seatbelt fit me? And thinking like, oh, do I need to ask for an extension? Should I buy one and bring it with me? What should I do? And then I went in and I put on the belt and I actually had to tighten it.
Brilliant.
So it was like that feeling with you with the dress that was just, Kerry, I love speaking to you. I could go on forever, but our time is actually finished. And I just think anybody that wants to relate to you and check you out, meet you over on your blog, just give us a link there and I will actually put it in the comments as well.
It's basically www.fabuliciousfifty.com.
Brilliant.
And then I'm all over social media, but Sharon will put the links up. I think that's easier.
I absolutely will. Kerry, thank you so much. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've been commenting down below. We'll get back to your comments and everything else. And we will see you next week for another edition of On The Plus Size from Ireland's Got Curves. Thank you.